I'm Nicolas Kayser-Bril. I run a company called Journalism Plus Plus, and tonight I want to tell you about why there is no European journalism and what we can do about it. But the first thing I want to talk about are horses, and that should be the next slide. Yes, horses, they look fantastic. I really love them, and the best thing about horses is that they taste great, but not everyone in Europe agrees, and especially not the Brits. And you might remember in January 2013, the Brits got totally crazy because they found horse meat in their Tesco burgers. And at the time, the French were like laughing and they didn't really care until the French found out that there was horse meat in their Findus lasagnas. And this became a French story as well, like 1 week after it was a British story. And all the while, the Germans had been like not caring at all until they found horse meat in the Rindergulasch at Aldi. And it became a German story as well, but that was like 1 month after it was a British story. And the reason I'm telling you this is because it was a European story, because everything about trade is a European story that was treated in a national way. And it was a problem because everyone focused on like the easy way of telling the story. It was like, oh, it's all because of this slaughterhouse in Romania. They mislabeled the horse meat, but it wasn't true. The story was that you had bad guys in the Netherlands and in France who'd been doing all the bad stuff, but no one really saw that. So in the end, it was bad journalism because of these national narratives. Another example that's much closer to you, you all know Blendel, right? Spotify for News, they raised 4 million US from Axel Springer and New York Times. They're fantastic, it's a great app. But whenever I talk about Blendel, I usually mention another startup that's also from Europe. It's called Piano Media. They're bigger, they've been around since 2011. They've raised more money and they're now the world leader in paywalls. But whenever I talk about them, the people in Paris and London are like, I've never heard about it. And the reason they've never heard about it is because Piano Media was founded in Bratislava, Slovakia. They managed to put paywalls in these 3 countries together. That's 10% of the population of the EU. But because it's all east of Vienna, no one really cares. And our vision of Europe is taken from this very bad movie, Euro Trip. My point is that we are stuck in these old stereotypes and we cannot look at other European countries for what they are. And whenever something happens in Europe, we're like, that's a metaphor, so that's us, and that's New York. So we are waiting for an information to go to the US and to come back to Europe before we can actually use it, and that's not a very efficient model. So of course, you have outlets that do have like a European vision. Political Europe just launched. You can think of the Wall Street Journal Europe. There is The Economist. There is the Financial Times. But all these news outlets are in English only. And well, you know what happens when you do something in English. It becomes a British vision on European matters. And you know the Brits don't really have the same European experience as we do. So some others have been doing things in several languages. Euronews, I think they do 15 languages. Café Babel, they do 6 languages. But again, these experiences never really gained any traction. They spend so much money on translations that they don't really have any resources for journalism anymore. And the point I'm trying to make here is that it's okay to have one single market, but this caricature from 1962 is still true today. When it comes to news, we have 28 different markets, and you'd be better off running 28 different media outlets. I don't think we need to have one single media outlet, but we do need to have one common platform to exchange knowledge. We don't need to translate everything in 25 languages all the time, but we do need to publish together at the same time so that we can achieve impact. We need to have a European follow-up. In the horse meat scandal, one guy went to jail, just one. But all the institutional failures are still there, and no one really checked on that. So our audiences demand European watchdogs, and I think we can deliver on that, but we really need to work together to do European journalism.